everyone, just Ash here. I finally saw Black Panther this week, so I thought I would share my views with you guys. This video does contain spoilers for Black Panther, you have been warned. Firstly, let me say that Black Panther is a surprising, fresh of breath air into the stagnant Marvel Cinematic Universe. The story, the settings, the characters are all really well done and fleshed out, and there's no surprising Iron Man cameo there to ruin the movie. So let's start with the plot. Black Panther is set a few days after the end of Civil War, and it deals with T'Challa officially becoming the King of Wakanda. It's much more easy to follow than recent Marvel movies, and it is 10 times more interesting as well. There are some nice moments of foreshadowing. For example, when M'Baku from the Jabari tribe challenges T'Challa for the throne of Wakanda, it's nicely paralleled when later in the movie Killmonger does the same. However, some of the foreshadowing can be a little heavy-handed. There's a moment where W'Kabi chews Black Panther out for not capturing Ulysses' Klaw, and from that moment I knew he was going to have a heel turn. It was so telegraphed that by the end of it, his allegiance would change. Which is exactly what happens when Killmonger shows up at the Wakandan border with Klaw's body. So yes, unfortunately, Black Panther suffers from the same problem that has plagued multiple Marvel movies up until this point, where there is one villain for the first half of the movie, and then a second, bigger, badder villain for the second half of the movie. The difference with Black Panther is that both of these villains are interesting in their own ways. Andy Serkis's portrayal of Ulysses Klaw is absolutely fantastic. You can really tell through the performance that Klaw is a fantastic smuggler, arms dealer, whatever he is, but he is also completely deranged. He sings pop songs while strapped to a chair being interrogated by the CIA, for God's sake. Michael B. Jordan also brings a lot of emotion and passion to his role as Killmonger, and the audience is able to almost empathize with his point of view. He's an outsider who felt abandoned by his home country when he's left in America by T'Chaka, and he grew up hearing tales of Wakanda. Now he wants to take over Wakanda and share their technology and their intelligence and their knowledge with the rest of the world, but he's not necessarily going about it in the right way. And this really beautifully mirrors T'Challa's own character arc. He starts off wanting to be a good king like his father. However, when he finds out a less than pleasant secret to do with his father and why Killmonger was left in America, he starts to question himself, and Chadwick Boseman's portrayal really allows you to see that vulnerability of a man who no longer quite knows what he wants to be. And eventually this leads to T'Challa opening an outreach program in America and following through with sharing the Wakandan technology and knowledge with the rest of the world. Boseman brings a really nuanced and contemplative performance with Black Panther. It really allows the audience to feel the character growth as well as the conflict between the more traditional side of his personality and the more progressive side. This is also reflected in the three other characters that form the core group of Black Panther. So you've got Okoye, who's portrayed by Danai Gurira, and she represents the more traditional side of T'Challa's personality. For example, when Killmonger takes over the throne, she remains loyal to the throne because that's what she does, because that's what she is sworn to do. On the more progressive side, you've got Nakia and Shuri, who are portrayed by Lupita Nyong'o and Letitia Wright. Nakia is a spy who found her calling outside of Wakanda, helping other people, and Shuri is in charge of Wakanda's technological development. She doesn't really seem to care for the traditions. She's often seen wearing less traditional clothing. She quotes memes while showing off the gadgets that she has made from vibranium. She definitely represents the side of T'Challa's personality that wants to share with the rest of the world. But that's not to say that these characters are there solely to support Black Panther. They all have their very own interesting character arcs. They're very fleshed out and very interesting, and it's so refreshing to see female characters not exist purely to further a man's story. And finally, it is so nice to see a Marvel movie that is not crammed full of the silly quips and sarcastic humour that has been prevalent throughout the whole cinematic universe. Yes, there are still some of the signature jokes and pop culture references, however, they feel more natural for the characters. They come most often between T'Challa and Shuri, and it strengthens their relationship as siblings, or they happen in moments where it doesn't detract from what's actually going on. Take the fight in the South Korean casino. Apart from a few lines from Klaw at the end, There's no quipping, there's no Terminator-style witty pun before you kill someone. It's all got a very dramatic and serious tone, and it's so much more enjoyable because I could actually focus on what was going on in the scene. It also helps that there are very few references to other Marvel movies within Black Panther. I think there are maybe 5 of them. The most obvious ones are Martin Freeman's Everett Ross character reappearing, and when Shuri references another broken white boy, which is clearly a reference to Bucky Barnes, who was put in stasis in Wakanda at the end of Civil War. However, Black Panther can be watched as a standalone movie. You do not necessarily need to watch all of the other Marvel movies to catch all of the references. They're very subtle, and it's nice to see the title character actually be the protagonist of the movie, and not something like Civil War where like 85% of it's Iron Man. Overall, Black Panther is an absolutely marvellous film. The acting and the direction of it are on point, and it is so nice to see something a bit different to the other homogenized entries into the MCU. I really do recommend giving it a watch, even if you've fallen out of love with the Marvel franchise at the moment, because like I said, this can be watched as a standalone movie. It's got a strong enough plot and few enough references that you're not going to miss out on anything if you don't watch the rest of the movies. And I think I'll call it a day on this video. What were your thoughts on Black Panther? Please leave them in the comments. If you've liked this video, please remember to give it a big thumbs up. And as always, pour yourself a nice cup of tea and join me next Friday at 8 for the next video.